Okay, we're back again, and this week we have Doop with us, fresh from the Path to Playoff panel. How are you doing, Doop?
It's not a podcast, is it? I'm doing good, mate. How are you?
Very well, thank you, very well. It's good to have you back.
It's great to be back. I'm actually, to be honest, I'm missing it a little bit. I am missing it a little bit. I'm missing my 2 a.m. DMs trying to sort of trade out. So I
Getting
miss it.
hassled.
Hassled is a good word.
Yes.
I'm glad you said it, not me.
Apologies. Right, so we are in season 4, coming up to, well, we're actually midway through the draft as we speak. So we thought it'd be a good chance to get Doop's opinion on the draft itself and where we think each team can improve. We've obviously got a squad limit in place this time round, so now that most of the squads are getting full up, it's at that point where they have to decide who to keep hold of, who to cut. Yeah, so let's get into it. First thoughts on this kind of draft class, Stu?
There's some very good players here. Like very good players. Players that I'm actually like I'm a bit surprised by Rodri, for example, at 28, 4 years in the future,
Hmm.
3 years in the future. I thought he was a lot older than that, IRL. So that's
Yeah,
confused me first and foremost.
yeah,
Um, but yeah, players such as Odegaard. I mean, Adiemi was one that I picked up early on. He did do very well for me. I was very happy with him. And there are again, there's some good players. Assuming this is post update as well, so Evan Ferguson's had a big update on him too.
correct. Yeah, yeah.
So there's some players at the top and the bottom of this draft pool that's very interesting.
Yeah, I was curious to see where Evan Ferguson would kind of rank because there aren't obviously apart from Adiemi, I guess there aren't really if a team is looking for a striker, there aren't many options here. But Evan Ferguson is obviously a bit raw, but he's got the potential to be one of the best strikers in the game in this because he's got a variable potential. So I think in our pilot series, he only had about 160-ish potential, whereas I assume he's hitting his upper limit here with 178. Um, and we found generally that strikers were very important in the pilot. I think if you didn't have a kind of 170 plus striker, I feel like those were the teams that kind of struggled. Um,
Yeah, that's one thing I didn't have. Like I didn't have an out and out striker. I spent far too long trying to get Victor Osimhen, and when I eventually had a chance to get him, he was just too old, and it just
yeah.
it's just in case you don't know this, the players do age. So if you want to tell Sweet Left Foot that, that'd be great. Um, so it is you have to keep on it. And like I said, yes, Adiemi can play up front. And to be honest, I could play him up front in a football manager save. I could retrain him. I could do all of the works to
Hmm.
get him to do. But you don't have that luxury. The manager is the manager, right? So you have to kind of if you want an out and out striker, you need to get an out and out striker. Simple as.
Cool. All right. Well, let's jump into the teams, and we'll start at the top with the current leaders in points, Roy. So Roy spent big in the auction last season to bring in De Bruyne and
Okay.
Lewandowski,
Oh wow.
and so they definitely obviously paid off for him. Actually, it might have been season 2. I can't remember off the top of my head,
But
but
what he's also got is he's got some good talent behind waiting. Oscar
mhm.
is such a good little player. I'm going to do a little plug. I'm actually currently writing a Wonder Could Watch on him on the Five Star Potential website.
Mhm.
So he's a good player. I know all about him. He's got other good talents as well. Jeremy Pino is a good little player as well. So he's got some good attacking players there that's going to create for Lewandowski up top. I mean, what more can you ask for? And Timber at the back. I'm very impressed with this team. Like, it's a
Mhm.
well built team, well balanced team, and with two very good goalkeepers as well. You can't go wrong. Honestly, there's you can see why he's at the top of the tree.
Yeah, I guess the approach that he's gone for is he's favoured experience in some positions, obviously like with as you mentioned De Bruyne and Lewandowski, um, but especially in midfield, he's already got like the next guys to step up, like Yeremy Pino, Oscar, Vinny Jr. But I guess in terms of on the flip side, I guess a glaring issue is going to be who's going to replace Lewandowski.
Well, this brings us nicely on because this kind of looking at the draft that's available, we spoke about earlier about the fact there's not many out and out strikers on there. Somebody that could sit behind Big Robert for maybe a season or two, or maybe even just the remainder of the season, would be Evan Ferguson, right?
Exactly.
So that could be a very good pick for him. I would worry that if Bob gets injured, who's going up top? Because Vinicius Junior is a winger. I mean, he probably has the attributes to play up top, but he doesn't have any other strikers that could play out and out striker like we discussed.
Yeah, currently it's been Oscar who's actually, I think Pep is his main manager, so he's used Oscar as the kind of second option up front.
Almost a false nine-esque, I guess.
Possibly.
Yeah. Okay. Well, I think I can definitely. I mean, let's not forget as well. Roy was in the pilot, so he's got that experience. That helps. Going in knowing kind of playing out those 10 seasons, you learn quite a bit.
Yeah.
I'll be intrigued to see. I mean, I've not seen the list. This is the first time I've seen it. But I wouldn't be surprised if it's somebody else that's been managing for 10 years before.
Yeah. So in terms of his first round draft pick, obviously he won the title last season, so he was dropped down to essentially pick number 8 in the draft, and yeah, I was surprised that Evan Ferguson did drop down to him, so that is who he picked up.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
Okay, so. That's Mystic Doop over here.
Yeah, so you've got 1 out of 1 so far.
Okay, I'd just like to say I've really enjoyed my time here today. Thank you for that, and I'll see you next time.
Cheers, mate. Yep.
Yeah, I mean, looking at that, the only kind of other thing that I may have looked at for him would be somebody else as a centre back potentially, but there's nothing.
Well, he has got that. So he's brought in a regen, that Robert Alith guy.
Oh, do you know? Forgive me, I've just seen him.
Yeah, he is a bit of a monster.
Yes, he's a bit of a monster. I take that completely back. I probably would have said Diamante from Sporting would have. He's sat middle on the first page. 21 years of age, centre back, good centre back. 162, already playing at his peak. Would fit nicely.
Okay, let's jump on to second place, which, as you predicted, is another returning player, Romford FC, managed by Redrup. So he's playing quite an unusual formation, I guess. Both of his managers play 5 at the back, and they both play narrow. So I think he started with Gasparini as 2 DMs, 2 attacking midfielders, and 1 up top. And he brought in Simeone last season. So it's kind of like a narrow diamond, but with 5 at the back. Yeah, what are your initial impressions on this squad?
I like it. Again, 2 very good wing backs. Obviously Trippier working with Simeone in the past. I mean, I know it's only a video game, but I like that narrative. He's got Scalvini, who's quality with Van Dijk. I mean, De Ligt as well, Slotterback. I mean, he's just got a very good back line.
Yeah.
Back line that a defensive manager would love. Oh, let's just put Simeone in charge. You know what I mean? Like it's almost a perfect cocktail to have such a defensive system and have that back line. Absolutely awesome. Then you jump over into the midfielders, and he has got arguably one of my favorite midfielders, Yuri Telemans, on this game. Attribute wise, is just delightful. And he seems to be one of those players that plays above those attributes. I never really, whenever I've played with Tielemans before, I've always seen him do very well. And in Sims, he's done very well. So epic. But then also, it's okay. We've got Xavi and we'll have Phil Foden as well. He's got a midfield there that can last a long, long time.
Yeah.
And then he's got Lautaro Martinez up top. It's a very good, well-balanced team. I do worry a little bit if he wants to play 2 strikers, where he's going to go next. Obviously, now knowing Evan Ferguson's already been picked up, Immobile, 35 years of age, ironically not that mobile.
Yeah, I was a bit surprised actually that he didn't pick up Evan Ferguson because, as you said, he's playing two up top, and there's not a natural replacement here for Chiro. I think Sterling was playing quite a bit up front for him last season,
Okay, yeah, I could see that. I can see
which
that. The problem
kind of
is
worked, but
yeah, kind of,
yeah,
and that's not what you need, is it? You don't need
no.
a kind of. Don't get me wrong, Martinez is going to get in goals. He's a very good, well-rounded player. But if he's playing that narrow system, then players such as Sterling they're gonna have to play narrower, and they're gonna have to
Yeah,
come in
yeah.
and fit in. So it's kind of something that maybe looking at it, he would potentially a striker. It doesn't seem too much in the draft pool that he's gone for. Would it be another? Because he doesn't need to sort that back line out. That back line is there for a while, and I don't think that's where his concerns would be. I would say it would be more of a creative midfielder, someone that can maybe support those strikers. I can't see unless he's gone for somebody that could kind of patch in as a striker. You know, for example, Adeyemi, could he kind of, if he picked Adeyemi and played him up top? But again, we're hoping that Simeone's going to do that. He can't manually pick him to put him up top. So yeah, I would probably say
So that's your guess for his first round draft pick,
my
Adiemi?
my guess for his first round draft pick would go with Odegaard.
Incorrect.
Okay, I mean,
It's the right position, to be fair. It is an attacking midfielder, but he went for Harvey Elliott.
okay. I mean, that's it's between the yeah. Okay. I mean, there's 3 or 4 I could have picked there, to be honest. But
Yeah.
yeah, okay, that's fine. I don't dislike that. I think that's the right thing to do. Um, I I can only guess, and this might be a little bit of a nudge for later on. Probably Odegaard wasn't available.
No comment. Okay, perfect. Let's move on next to one of the newcomers, Maggio. He's currently in third. So he's been using a 4-2-4 formation with Jose Mourinho. Yeah, I tipped Maggio to win season 3 with essentially with this squad. And he ended up coming 7th. So that gives you an indication of what at least he had second pick in the draft.
Okay.
But yeah, I mean, can you see any reasons as to why he came 7th? How did I get it so wrong?
You know what? I'm looking, and I wouldn't say this is a 7th place team. Okay.
I
Keepers
would
wise,
say centre mids maybe is where he got let down. But
yeah, I mean he's got the attacking players there. He's got the 8s, right? He's got Silva, he's got Mason Mount. I mean, arguably Silva would be a 10, but um yeah, maybe a bit more of a defensive midfielder.
mm,
Somebody that's gonna put a tackle in like um Warren Emery. He's a good talent, but he's not somebody that's gonna jump into that position straight away. You know, he's got some young players there, Paul Wanner and Cherky. Good players. They're young players. Can they hit the ground running? I'd say you're right. Somebody defensive would be key for me. And I mean, the strikers. He's got some good strikers there.
mm.
And I'm very confused to why. Yeah,
I
I mean,
feel like it might be the formation where it's kind of like that centre mid. Those centre mids are so exposed playing four
yes,
two four. Maybe like a 4-2-3-1 would have been a bit safer, perhaps.
yeah, maybe a midfielder in front or behind those
Mm,
that
mm,
pair would probably support it better. Probably with the players he has now, would scream that somebody defensive needs to come in. I see one man. We mentioned them before. Uh, Rodri would be a great pick for here. If he had second pick, I can see Saka going first. To be honest, Rodri would be available. Maggio's a bit of a hipster, right? So like, I could see him going for like a coupe miners instead, like just because like it's Maggio and he wants to be different. But I would say Rodri would be the man that he should go for in this system.
Okay. Well, I can confirm that he has gone for Rodri, so 2 out of 3. You're doing good.
Yeah, bad.
Um,
I mean, I feel like
yeah.
for the Harvey Elliott one, I deserve half a point in my opinion, but it's okay. But it's a good team, and I can see where you're coming from because that back line's very good as well.
Yeah.
He's got youth on the left, he's got youth on the right, he's got some good centre backs there. I don't dislike the team at all. I think Maggio's done well. His facilities are up to 20.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
he's got a good little system there going, and I like it.
Yeah, there aren't too many compared to Roy's team. There aren't too many like old boys that he's going to have to move on, in the next season or two. Like I guess
Oh,
Salah and Varane are the only ones.
but Salah and Varane,
But
the positions that they play and the way that they play gives him 2 or 3 drafts or auctions to kind of replace them, right?
yeah, it's not
Also with the
urgent. Yeah.
squad size increase, it gives him the chance to hoard those players, keep those players for as long as he needs to. Do you know what I mean? Because they have the ability. We know they do. Varane obviously injury prone, but I'd look at that draft pool, like I said, and the DM being more important. There isn't a world class centre back in there that screams to me, pick me. So I think he did the right decision.
Awesome. Okay, let's move on to our good
Here he
friend,
is.
Mr. Greenwood, who is sitting in 4th place currently.
Okay.
And he's also using the 4-2-4 formation with his favourite manager, Eddie Howe. He had first overall pick of the whole game, and he picked Harry Kane.
Okay, I don't dislike that.
What's your experiences with Kane been like in FM, whether it's drafts or single player saves?
He's a good dribbler, and that's not just when he talks.
Oh
Look,
dear.
he's gonna get you goals, right? He's gonna get you goals, lots of goals, and we're kind of in this predicament IRL with him apparently potentially going to United. It's not the greatest buy for United, but he's gonna get in goals, right? And with Dunk, it's not gonna last him the 10 years. However, it's gonna put him in a very good position. He has a lot of points. His facilities are at 20. He's got a really big budget, and he's got a good team here. Harry Kane's helped that 100%. So I don't dislike the Harry Kane overall first pick.
See, because I haven't had that much experience using him, but I've always struggled because he doesn't fit the normal mold of like strikers I like to use. I either like to use pacey guys who get in behind or your big target men, and then I never really have that much success with the kind of false nine type strikers. And I can quickly bring up. Let's have a look at Mr. Kane. His stats. So season 1, he got 5 goals,
Oh,
14
disgusting.
assists. Next season, he got 7 goals, no assists. And so then I predicted Dunk to come last in the season just gone. But
Yeah.
then Kane ended up scoring 13 and getting 8 assists. So he's kind of redeemed himself, I think, in the last season. But
You'd expect a little bit more from him.
yeah, I mean, looking at his stats, obviously he hasn't declined just yet.
No. I mean, attribute wise, still very, very good. Physically not great, but fine. Like fine for what he needs. The question would then be, is it a squad issue rather than a Harry Kane issue? Who's feeding him the ball? Yes, okay, he's got Messi, right? He's got Sancho, but out of that, the rest of his midfield are very defensive. When you look at the fact he's got Enzo Fernandez, Kante, Tonali, Gundogan. So he hasn't got a huge amount of array there that's going to create a huge amount for Harry Kane. Look at the goals Harry Kane scores. Yes, they're tap-ins, which Messi and Sancho will help with, but he also likes to run onto the ball and bury a bottom corner on the edge of the box. How many times have we seen Harry Kane do that? Who's creating those chances for him? And when you look at the system he's playing, yes, I can see why he's got 2 very defensive midfielders in there, and he needs them looking at that back line.
Yeah, yeah.
You know, he needs some support to that back line. So it's a very he's got, like I said, he's got a good budget. He's got some good players there. but he's got a 37-year-old Messi who I don't know what his attributes look like, but it's going to be a
You
mess.
don't want to see that.
But he's got a 34-year-old Gundogan, a 34-year-old Kante. These players aren't going to have much left in them. He's
Yeah,
got a lot of positions there that
and
he's going to have to
Gundogan as well,
replace.
34.
Yeah, yeah. There's a lot there that he's going to have to replace. So this is a tough one, really, because there's a lot of places that he could improve here. What round did he
So
have?
he came second last season, to be fair to him.
Wow,
Yeah,
fair
yeah.
play. GG.
Because Sancho really showed up for him. I think he had the most man of the matches last season. So he's kind of starting to hit his potential, it seems like.
Okay, so he had last pick, right?
So he had seventh pick.
Seventh. Okay, I mean, this is such a tricky one, and I don't believe I would get this right. There's a couple
What
of positions.
position do you think he should prioritize here? Maybe that will help narrow it down a bit.
Well, he hasn't got an out-and-out left back, right?
That is correct.
That's a big one for me. Messi, I don't know how many games Messi has played, but Messi is going to be no more. So I'm assuming he's got an Usman Dembele and a Sancho. So I kind of don't think he needs to kind of replace Messi just yet. He's also got Gakpo and Jota, who can actually play. They're quite versatile, can play on the wings.
Yeah.
So left back would scream to me that could be something. Seventh pick down the line, are you going to be picking a left back for your first round of this draft? When actually, when you look at there's a few. There's not many actually, is there? You've got Kieran Tierney who will play. You've got Jose Gaya, who is a manager legend.
Yeah.
Um,
but they're not feel good first round picks.
No, they're not somebody that's going to make you're not going to write that in the chat. That's who you're picking and put a smile on your face, is it? So he might go and look to strengthen that back lineup. Akanji, good player, and he's kind of doing it on his own, right?
Yeah.
It's a tough one. I honestly, I don't know.
Give me a name, Doop.
I'm going to go for. Oh, this is a tough one. I don't think. I'm going to go for the fact that seventh. There's some good attacking talent, and people like attacking, which will have left the door open for an Upamecano, and Dunk's gone for an Upamecano.
Incorrect. But it is the right position. He's gone for Levi Colwill.
Oh, do you know, I looked at him and I thought he would be the one. Okay, I don't mind Levi Colwill, just because of obviously with everything later down the line, 22 years of age, it's a good pick.
Yep.
I just worry that he needs something now. But if
he is 161 CA, so he would actually be his best defender.
Yep. Okay. You're right. You're
not
right.
saying that much, but yeah.
Yeah.
Still.
Yeah. No, he's not terrible. Okay. I mean, that's not that again. It's one of them that could have been one of four. I'm relatively happy.
Yeah.
We're on the same page.
It wasn't a great draft for fullbacks. I think.
No.
Yeah. I mean, you mentioned Jose Gaya, who's like midway through that list. So.
Yeah, I mean, Gaya's a great pick. You know what you're going to get with Gaya, but you're going to get it for 2 years, 3 years. You don't want to waste a pick on that, right? Gaya, I don't know what the auction's going to look like, but maybe the auction is somewhere where Dunk would kind of spend that 222 million and go, actually, we're going to pick him up as a backup or as the starter for a couple of seasons.
So he has used his money for a trade. He spent 100 million and 2 second-round picks to purchase another manager. And I'll explain more when we get to that manager.
Okay. Yeah.
But the reason for it, we can obviously see he's got 20 facilities, and his academy has already churned out three regens who are above 175 PA. So he's looking to spend his money to kind of nurture them. I think most of them are like attacking midfielders, like wingers.
Right. Okay.
So rather than looking to draft a Messi replacement or a Dembele replacement, I think he's planning to grow that from within.
But let's not forget, just a really quick one, just to finish Dunk off. That's awesome. Like when you look at draft pools and you look at the one we're looking at now, we've got Saka there. You've got these attacking players, Kingsley Coman. You've got Elliott. You've got Odegaard. These are the players people want, right?
Mhm.
These are the players that, like you said, the feel good first round pick. If Dunk's going in there and going, well, I've got new gens that literally don't need anything attacking, he can really take the time latter part of this few seasons and go, actually, let's hone in on the players that people would pick up later down the line, but still be a very good pick.
Mhm.
And so Dunk can get away with maybe swapping his good draft picks for worse draft picks because he doesn't need the out and out first round picks.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it'll be interesting to see how. I mean, because always the issue with those regens and stuff is how quickly will they be first team ready.
Yes.
And so the manager he's brought in is going to hopefully help help their development. So
Good work. Well done, Dunk. Second on that as well. It's decent.
yeah. Okay, on to Billy's team next. Obviously can see a big number in his budget. No manager, although he did have a manager previously to boost his facilities, but he sold him on. Yeah, so Billy finished fourth last season.
Okay.
I think he was only a couple of points off the title winners, Roy.
Oh wow. Okay. I mean, I look at it and we've kind of looked at every other squad and we've gone, there's their standout player. I don't see that here really. I mean, he's got good players, and I'm not. But what he's done is he's got very good spread
Yeah,
across
yeah,
each kind of role. So you've got Lukaku. I'm not a massive fan of FM Lukaku. You have to create him literally a bag full of chances, and he might score you one. But he does have that ability. I'm not taking that away from him. Rafael Leao is awesome on this game. I love him. I
yeah.
think he's such a good player. And I think he would get a lot out of him. And João Felix in behind them. He has definitely got. I can see where he creates goals with Brozovic. Yeah, I can see where he stops the goals. Obviously with Kimmich as well, a very versatile player. And you can see his back four really pick themselves. So I'm
Mhm.
assuming maybe Kimmich plays a little bit higher up. Maybe plays in that midfield.
Yeah, so
Um,
last season he played 4-4-2. And I think the AI manager was playing Kimmich in at centre back for
oh wow,
a
okay.
lot of the time.
I mean,
Uh,
he's a very good player. I mean, 183 PA.
yeah,
Sorry, CA is like higher than most players we've
yeah,
seen
yeah.
today,
No,
right?
he's like a
So
top five player. Yeah.
yeah, he's a very good player. He's very versatile. I like this team a lot. I like the fact he's already. I mean, his facilities. You said he got a manager. He's got 20 facilities there now.
Hmm.
Is that without that manager as well?
Yeah, yeah. So the facilities upgrades stick.
Okay, so he's got 353 million in that budget.
Yeah.
He's done very well last year. He's got a young front line, regardless. Lukaku. relatively relatively good spread of age in the midfielders and not a terrible age in defenders. Slightly old if you had to be really picky. It's a very well balanced side, and I don't know if this is going to cause a bit of issue. I can only really. So what's he playing this year, or what's he planning on playing?
Unless he buys another manager, he will stick with 4-4-2.
So who's got Barnes?
So
So I
it's
guess he's
Barnes
playing,
and Rafinha were his regular wingers last
and then he's
season.
playing Brozovic and Felix in the middle.
Yeah, so Felix played half his games centre mid and half as a striker.
And then Leao, who would naturally be better on the wing, is playing up front. So
Correct,
not
yeah.
really you use like using
Yeah,
his.
it's a bit wonky.
Yeah, I can see that. It's just kind of where would he go? Where so he had so if he was fourth, he had fourth pick, right? Or fifth pick,
Fifth
fifth
pick,
pick.
yes.
Okay, so I'm trying to work this out now. Where could he possibly go? Keeper, fine. I don't see why you'd want to improve the keeper. There's not really a keeper on the draft board that jumps out at me. Lafont, yeah, he's a bit better, but not.
Yeah, it's
Not
not
a
going to
huge
change his
amount. It's
fortunes
not a huge
massively.
amount. No. Back line, I think you've got to be relatively happy with that back line. Could he improve it? Could he drop somebody in there? Yes. Could he put an upper Meccano in there, which we know is available? Yes. But would you want to? I think you'd need to go midfield here. And I mean, it's not a massive upgrade as in age-wise, but somebody maybe like Goretzka could be quite decent for him in there. The issue with him is his age.
Mm,
Drafting somebody at that age would be a concern, but he would go in and he's better than Brozovic. He does improve that position, um, especially if you're pairing him up with João Felix. João Felix is very much attacker minded. You need somebody in there that can mop it up. Apart from that, I'm kind of struggling. I don't see why you'd go up front anywhere. That doesn't make sense to me. Leao, Vahalovic, more than enough with
mm,
those. And with Lukaku only 32. I'm going to be honest. I'm going to get this one wrong.
mm.
But I am going to go for. Right, he was picked 1, 2. Don't see him being there long. Okay, so he had fifth pick,
Correct. Yeah.
and I think he would go for Goretzka.
Kind of right position, but no, he went for a bit more flair. He went for Odegaard.
Okay. Yeah, I'll be honest. I'm surprised Odegaard was there with the fifth pick. With the fifth
Hmm.
pick, to be perfectly honest. Um, yeah, I don't dislike it. The only thing I do dislike is the fact that putting Odegaard in there with João Felix is going to cause a lot of problems. So
Yeah.
I advise him to buy a manager very quickly. Um, but again, it might be that when it comes back around, Goretzka or Bruno Guimaraes or Billy Gilmore, someone like that who can play a bit more defensive would be a pickup for him.
Yeah.
But again, if if you're going at that draft pool and you're in fifth draft round pick and Odegaard's still there, you've got to pick him. Let's
Hmm.
be honest.
Yeah. Yeah. Okay. Another returning player, Sean. He's actually got 3 managers currently, so only the top 2 are active,
Okay.
and so that facilities upgrade will be coming next season.
Great.
But yeah, I think this is the team with the potentially the highest average age. He
Yeah.
has brought in a couple of youngsters in the last season, but um, I think he's generally favoured experience. Yeah, apart from in the defender column, you'll see Samu Pertzer, who's 199 potential right back. Um,
Has he bought him or is he in
so
like
he
in
was
house?
in auction. Yeah.
And how much was he purchased for?
Oh, let me find that out for you.
Holy smokes. He's pretty good.
So Sean spent 55 million on him in season 2. So he has had game time for Sean, which has obviously
Yeah, but
helped.
he see, this is where the football manager in me. If you go back to his attributes screen, first thing, if I ever pick this guy, and obviously Sean, you can't do this, so sorry, but I would be completely retraining this guy as a centre midfielder.
Mm,
Like he can offer so much more in the middle of that park. You could get him on a CM attack. You could, even with 18 technique, vision, and his passing is absolutely ample to be a really good all-round midfielder with great work rate, great teamwork. His physicals are perfect. Like this guy is very good, but he's a right back. You know what I
yeah,
mean?
yeah.
Like, he could offer so much more, which you obviously can't do in this game.
Mhm.
But yeah, very good player. I'm very
Yeah,
happy.
yeah,
I'm very impressed with this chap. He's going to be there for a long, long time, right?
for sure. I mean, I guess the slightly frustrating thing for Sean is that he's also got Reece James there, so it's like that's probably one
Yeah.
of the few positions he needed 199 regen, but I guess for 55 million you can't really.
No, I don't think you that's cheap. I think
Yeah,
that's cheap. And I think it's something that he may be able to palm him off later down the line.
yeah,
But
yeah.
I mean, because he
Or
has
Reece
Rico Lewis.
James,
Yeah,
yeah,
or
use one of
Rico
them for a
Lewis.
trade.
Rico Lewis is a very good right back too.
Mm.
Um, does concern me. He's got Rudiger and Koulibaly in the middle, though. They both turn like Arctics, like very slow centre backs.
Mm-hmm.
He's gone for Neymar. Disappoints me.
Yeah, so he
Wow.
he purchased Neymar last season because he turned 32, so he was eligible for auction. And he, to be fair to him, he performed much better than I thought Neymar would. If we, so he got. Let's take a look. Got
Okay.
11 goals, 8 assists
Yeah.
in 26 games. So
That isn't terrible. Let's be honest, that isn't terrible.
no, no.
And you said he was relatively cheap for him as well, was he?
He spent 30 million on him, so it's a
Yeah.
decent amount, but
He's got a good midfield there as well, though, hasn't he? I mean, his attributes are very good, but that midfield of Kessie, Neves, and Fernandes, very good. Obviously, including Luis Alberto in that as well. He's a very good talent. And his strikers are just phenomenal.
yeah.
Like,
I think Sean's attacking unit is my favourite. You've just got a bit of everything there.
yeah, you've got height, you've got pace, you've got strength, you've got out and out goal scorers. Raspadori, if you don't know, look him up on Football Manager. He is a lot better than he. And again, he's another one that will play above his attributes. Very, very good player.
Yeah, I've had good success with Raspadori as well.
But that
Okay.
doesn't make my. So where did he finish last year?
So
I would have thought with those Neymar statistics, he must have done quite well.
well, yeah, he started very well, but he had a poor second half of the season and he slipped down to 6th. So he got third round draft pick this season.
Okay, so that front line is done. Doesn't need to worry about that.
Yeah.
And that's a front line that will last him the entirety as well. So he hasn't got to worry about the front line. Midfield. So he's playing a 4-2-4, right?
Correct.
So he's got the midfielders fine. Bruno's very attacking, but Bruno has the defensive attributes to be able to play in there. I wouldn't think a centre mid would support him at all. Ferran Torres, Neymar, maybe with the way Neymar, maybe you would look to replace Neymar, but the way that Neymar performed, I don't think you need to replace him. He's obviously got a few seasons left in him. Oh, this is a tougher one. Again, though, he doesn't have that left back, does he?
I think he was playing Balde there because he's naturally left-footed.
Left-footed. Okay.
Yeah.
I thought he was
very attacking though, but
okay. So all in all, a good team. Third round. He's got the third pick. You say though, right?
correct. Yeah.
I mean, I think Saka would go first. I mean, you look at that, regardless of what you need, I think Saka was just a cut above the rest to make you want to take Saka first. Rodri, we've already discussed. Gone. He went second. Did you say?
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm just kind of looking now. He's got the rest of the field to go with. Would he go for an Odegaard? I don't think he would need him. And Upamecano would. I mean, that would make that back line a lot younger. Would be the best defender he's got. So maybe it doesn't scream. We said though it doesn't scream amazing, does it? Maybe let's go for that. Let's go for Upamecano. And I can't remember if I said him already.
You haven't said him already, no. But you got the position right. But he actually went for Araujo instead. So I'm not sure if he's had kind of personal success with him.
Maybe. I mean, there's not enough in between them to kind of make me jump to him rather than Upamecano. Upamecano's got the height. I think he may lack a little bit physical attributes pace-wise. But
let's do a side by side.
I know he doesn't lack pace. I don't know. Oh, I think I'm thinking of the other one. No, see, look at his attributes there. Why would you not pick him? I'm sorry, he's got that wrong. He's got that wrong.
Upamecano's definitely got the physicals.
Yeah, the physicals for me. Yeah, I mean, unless he's gone for that jumping reach heading OP. But I mean, what do you want from a defender? You want a guy that can tackle and he's big and strong and quick. I can see why he's picked either one. Let's be perfectly frank.
Yeah.
Um, maybe technical abilities, the fact that he can bring the ball out.
I think it's a personal choice where it's like he's had good success with him because, yeah, from the face of it, it looks like you should pick Upamecano, but
yeah, no. But again, like you said, if he's got a personal, he might have a personal vendetta against Upamecano. But it depends. Look, we don't ever see a game that this team plays, but if you look at those two, there was a definite, clear technical ability difference. And if he kind of likes to think that, he's got Poch as manager, they're going to play out from the back, they're going to play nice football, then Upamecano isn't the pick.
Yeah.
If you had Jose Mourinho in there, then actually, yeah, you want to park that bus. Upamecano could be the pick. Okay, we're close though. I mean, we're obviously all thinking on the same wavelength.
Give you a half point for that.
Thank you.
I was thinking, I feel like Sean is going to struggle on the wings. It was like he kind of needs to address both centre back and the wings.
But looking at that wings, where could he go? He could go Kulusevski next, which is very difficult for me to say.
Yeah, there weren't great wingers on the board. Kingsley Coman.
Saka's going to be gone. Whoever's got number one's gone Saka, regardless of what you've got. Like I said, because of his CAPA, like he's a cut above the rest. You're not gonna not pick him. So yeah, okay, yeah. I think maybe Kulusevski would be his. Okay, that's easy. Would be his next pick. Coman could be still available because of his age, so that might be somebody that he picks up, or maybe he goes in for an Adeyemi. And later down the line, if he's on that second page, not a lot of people pick from that second page in the first round.
Yeah.
So interesting, very interesting.
So that leads us on to Mr. TOMFM. Currently only 13 players in his squad. He's made a few bids in the auction, but none of them have come good so far. So he's currently got all his 280 million sitting in the bank, and he hasn't picked up a manager either. So, from memory, the kind of basic manager is playing 4-2-3-1, which actually
that probably helps him better.
Yeah, it really suits the players that he's got.
Yeah, definitely.
And so Tom came last in the league the first 2 seasons. So with pick number 1 in season 2, he picked up Camavinga. And obviously season 3, Mr. Haaland was on the board. So
of course, yeah. Again, you have to pick him.
Yeah.
That's insane. He's such a good player, and that's him done for the year now. Like that's him done. He doesn't need to pick another striker up again.
Mm-hmm.
With Alvarez in there as well. I mean, the attacking talent this guy's got for years to come is insane. So where did he come last season?
So he came 5th. Yeah, Tom came 5th. He was kind of like the top 4 were all very close, and then there was quite a big gap to 5th.
Yeah.
So Tom was best of the rest, and he won the cup.
Oh, good season then. Really good season.
Yeah.
Okay. This is a tough one again, and I'm not just saying it. Costa, keeper, perfect. Can't go wrong with him. Good goalkeeper, good age, love it. Zinchenko left back, Porro right back, good. I'm assuming that's how they're playing it, and then he's got Kimpembe and Gomez in the middle.
Yeah, I think that was the main back 4.
Probably could do with a bit of an upgrade in the middle, in my opinion. And then if he's got Camavinga, Pellegrini, Martinelli one side, Isaac the other, Haaland in the middle, and then up front and Alvarez behind. I mean, that's
that was the starting 11.
Okay, it's a tough one. So what pick did he have then? If you can say he had
pick number 4.
Pick number 4.
So he was just after Sean.
Sean picked Odegaard.
No, Sean picked Ronald Araujo.
You're right. Sorry. Yes. Okay. I honestly think I don't dislike this, and I think Tom is probably getting laughed at right now because of the positions that he's finished. But like, let him cook. Like, he is cooking something up here,
Yeah.
and Tom is going to move into places later down the line. What he needs to now do is focus on that back line, get somebody in that can steady the ship in that middle with Joe Gomez, and that one man would be Epimecano. He's going to get picked sooner or later, right?
Yeah, by process of elimination, you are correct. I guess the question is, with Odegaard on the board, would you not be tempted to have him as your number 10 instead of Alvarez?
Yeah, absolutely. I think that would have probably been a very difficult decision for him. However, if he's just come off of that season he's just had and he's done relatively well, I can see why he hasn't. If he would come bottom again, obviously he would have a different draft pick, but I could see you would probably go, actually, yeah, let's get some creativity behind Haaland. But there's enough there already, and looking at the draft pool, he could potentially go for somebody more defensive, like Goretzka. Again, we mentioned him again. He could be available later down the line. You've got Bruno Guimaraes. Put them next to Camavinga, and then Pellegrini jumps into that 10.
Yeah.
And Pellegrini is a good enough. His attributes are good enough to do that.
Yeah, he can play either.
Yeah, again, Coop Miner, he could go in there, and then there is some attacking midfielders there that's available that he may be able to pick up later down the line. And with the age now, there's going to be players popping up that he could just fill that hole with that 280 million budget just until he can get another pick.
Yeah. No, I'm expecting big things from this team next season, with kind of a bit more options off the bench, and with obviously Upamecano in the back line.
Yeah, no, I don't think it's a terrible team, and I think he's had to go through a little bit of problems, but was he 60 points behind?
So Roy is sitting on 183, and Tom is
So he's
currently
90 points behind.
90
Okay.
points behind. So
I mean, that's a lot to try and fill up. The problem that Tom's going to have, and this is something that I found, is winning the early ones really help because people are way off the pace.
yeah,
When you get to the latter ones, and we saw the league close up massively, teams from the top to the bottom, it was only like 15 points difference.
yeah.
It's going to be very difficult to kind of make that 90 up. But if you want to do it and you've got Haaland on your team, Haaland's the man to have on your team, right?
Anything's possible.
You just never know.
Yeah, I think in the season which Roy brought De Bruyne and Lewandowski in, I think he got like 70 points or something ridiculous like that. So because obviously there were squads that were still like half developed and stuff. So it was a good strat. Okay, last but not least, our good friend Mr. Sweet Left Foot. So he came last in season 3.
Can you just say that again without laughing?
No, I love Mike. I love Mike. I feel bad for Mike because some of his draft decisions have been questioned a few times. Okay. But his heart's in the right place. He's trying. Bless him.
God loves a trier.
Yeah. And having Saka probably helps with this team.
Oh, that was going to be one of my picks. Yeah, but I'll be honest, looking at this team, it's not terrible.
No,
right?
That's the thing.
It's
like, I don't feel
terrible.
like it's that far from like being good. Like, there's a couple of positions maybe which he needs to chuck out some of the old boys.
Yeah. Jordan Henderson. Looking at it though, right? Looking at it, he's picked a team that would play very well in Football Manager, right? He has a team that would be very good. Garvidal, Torres, Hakimi. These are players in the back line which would be awesome. We've got Florian Wirtz, who is a very good number 10, and he does become very good in Football Manager. Benjamin Sesko, Victor Rocco. These guys are very good in Football Manager when you manage them and you can utilize them. My worry is it's not Sweet Left Foot managing them. It's Carlo Ancelotti, and that's a big compliment there, Sweet Left Foot. But you know what I mean? you're right. He needs to get rid of some of the older players. And I hate to say Sadio Mane when I know he picked him first, like
Yeah.
instead of some incredible talent. Thiago, 34 years of age, needs to go. Jordan Henderson needs to go. Like, get rid of Benzema, man. Like 37, just get rid of him. Like, get him gone, and get the new blood in. There is some good talent there. Like, don't. It's not the end of the world. The issue is you're just creeping behind, and you kind of need to go peak early, right? So you need to be like 24, 20, 25, 26-year-old players be buying, not buying 20-year-olds, because it just doesn't, like, you haven't got time to nurture them into what they need to be. But I can
Yeah.
see there's a good team here. Obviously, we know he picked Saka. That's perfect for him anyway. Mane is at the end of his tether. I would say with the players he has there, a Saka pick is a good pick. Let's go and say what his next pick would be. We kind of know the top 8, right? So
Yeah.
I'm assuming he's got 201.
Yeah, he's got the next
Yep.
pick.
Yeah. So looking at that, I think personally, kind of getting rid of Thiago, getting rid of Henderson, 2 defensive midfielders. He could potentially go and get that Goretzka. Not again. I know he's an older player, but it's stopping somebody else getting some good talent. The other option for him, really, looking at it, is he must be playing Hakimi on the right, a Walker on the right. He's going to be playing. Is he going? Are they playing Garvador Torres out on the left?
Vardio is on the left.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be out on the left. He needs to be in the middle. He's a better centre back than he is a left back. So potentially he picks up a left back, knowing what's available. It could be Gaia. It could be one. I think that's about it, isn't it? That's all that's left.
Well, Diego Dallo was obviously someone who can play left back, and who is
Yeah,
a bit younger. I know that
he
Mike
is.
was weighing up whether to take the hit on Gaia and kind of then have to replace him in like 3 years, or future-proof his pick a little bit.
Yeah, I mean, to kind of play devil's advocate, go in the middle and get Kieran Tierney. Um, Kyle Walker's got to go, right? So you are really struggling with his ages. He's going to be left with not many players. And
Yeah, I think
he
there's about
need
is that 6 players who are like 33 or older.
yeah. So Sadio Mane, you probably get more out of Mane. Let's be completely honest, right? You could probably keep him for
Yeah,
one
I
more
think he's
year,
got one more season.
but Thiago, Benzema, Pereira, Henderson, like Kyle Walker, that's 5, like at least. That he kind of needs to see out the door. So I personally think I'd go with Jose Gaia, really, at 29 years of age. I know it's an older player. The other option is go and get one on the. He's got 156 minutes. Go and get one on the auction, and then pick up that Goretzka to sit alongside in that midfield. He's got Verts. He's got McAllister. You know, these players that can really be utilized with a Goretzka. Goretzka can play there on his own. Do you know what I mean? He's such a good talent. So yeah, it's a tough one for him, really. I mean, he clearly doesn't need to pick a striker with the 2 that he's got. So he needs to sort that back line out. It's just disgusting looking at Henderson. Like a 34-year-old Henderson, a 34-year-old Kyle Walker. God.
Yeah, so yeah, I guess to be fair, with most of Mike's younger players, he's hit on them. So like Bert's started at 140 something, and now he's up to 167.
Yeah.
Obviously, Manuel Ugarte starts much lower.
Oh,
He's gone to 166. Desire Due, he started a bit lower. He's got up to 160 already. So he has hit on most of his youngsters. Thanks partly down
Sounds
to
really bad, by the way. He's a
yeah.
good-looking chap, but not that good-looking.
Right, yeah, let's cut that bit out. But yeah, that's largely due to Ancelotti's loan moves. So he sent
Okay.
Verts out to Brighton, and he sent Roque down to Middlesbrough, I want to say. They both
Right.
got like a full season's worth of game time, and are back this season. So in a way, he kind of like tanked last season,
Yeah.
which I think, well, getting Saka probably makes it worth it.
I mean, it does make it worth it. Let's not beat around the bush, but this is what always used to upset me a little bit. Like when I was involved last year, like you'd tank or you'd lose, and then you'd get somebody Saka, and then you don't tank the next year, and then they get Haaland or Mbappe. It's just luck of the draw, I know.
Yeah, yeah,
Um, but I do think it was a good draft pool for first round picks. I do think it considerably drops off.
yeah, yeah.
Um, but that's the joy of drafting, right?
Hmm.
If you don't like it, trade your picks out, get a player that might work, or trade your picks out and get some budget and get into the auction.
Yes, so Mike was involved in the big trade with Dunk, so he's let Ancelotti go to Dunk
Okay.
for, so he's added an extra 100 million to this budget here, so he's
Yeah.
got 250 million. He's got Dunk's second pick this season, and he's also
Okay.
got Dunk's second pick next season.
Okay.
So I think that's pretty good because, we talked about, what, 4 or 5 players who almost certainly need to go. So getting a
Yeah.
couple more second round picks to fill up the squad
Yeah,
makes
the
makes
rebuild's
sense.
there. The
Yeah.
rebuild's definitely there. The issue is he's season 3 or season 4. The rebuild's coming in. That's going to come. It's going to take seasons, and he's 110 points behind. That's the issue.
Yeah.
Well, Mike, you need to use some of that money to go and trade for some facilities. You need to trade and or even up these picks. Take your time. You've got some time. Go and find somebody that wants to swap next year's second for or maybe this year's third and this year's something else, and try and move up some of this draft because you need to fill up with players now,
Mhm.
and kind of worry about later because you are slipping behind. Don't forget they all age.
Yeah. Okay, that's the roundup of the teams. Now that we've had a look at all of them, Dupe, who would you say? I mean, obviously, let's say Roy's got a bit of a points lead. He's on 183.
Mhm.
Next best is Romford, 153. So let me frame it this way. Who do you think is the most likely team to challenge Roy um, at the top at the end of season 10, assuming that Roy doesn't completely crumble?
Are we talking total points or are we talking?
Yes. So at the end of season 10, who's got the most points on the board, assuming it's not Roy? Who do you think?
That's a really tough question. I'm thinking Sean. I like his front line. I like he has a very balanced squad. I like his midfield. I also think Dunk's got a very good team, like because I know he's lost a lot of money, but that midfield and Harry Kane. Harry Kane will continue to go and score goals, right? Let's not forget that. He has the facilities. He's gonna get some quality talent in. I'll be honest, Roy's team is just very, very good. And it's gonna be very difficult to knock him off the perch. He needs to get that striker in. They replace Big Bob, and we can see kind of what happens after Bob goes. Obviously, De Bruyne is going to be leaving soon. Song's going to be leaving soon. He has got that little kind of gap in the process, and how
Yeah.
he performs there is going to be huge for him. Um,
If Ferguson hits the ground running, then I think Roy's safe. Um,
yeah,
but I mean, you never know. It's FM. He could get an injury first game of the season.
yeah. I
Um,
think the thing is, looking at what Roy's got, I think Roy could go and get some trades done and get a striker.
mhm.
You know, if he could go and get a good striker from somebody else that's already hit the ground running, trade some of these picks that he doesn't really need, because he has kind of age on his side on some of the players. He's got some good players that he has that ability to do so. But yeah, there's obviously with this, there's always weak links everywhere.
Yeah.
But I can see why he's at the top at the moment. But
Okay.
in the words of Eric Ten Hag, eras they come to an end.
Let's not talk about real football for your sake.
I take it.
Right. Thanks a lot for your time, Dupe. Been a pleasure talking to you as always.
No problem. Good
And
luck. Like
yeah,
good fun. I really do enjoy. I enjoy it. It's good fun.
hope to see you back next year.
Wow.
What, next
Yeah,
season? Not
I'm
next
waiting
year.
for the invite. So you've got my address.